All right, let's talk about something we all know a little too well. That little voice in your head that says, you can do it tomorrow. Yep. Today, we're going to finally figure out how to tame that procrastination monster.
So, does this sound familiar? You've got this huge deadline coming up, but oh, look, your phone, and suddenly you're 3 hours deep into some random corner of the internet. Or maybe you've decided now is the perfect time to color code your sock drawer. It's a battle we all fight, right? But why? What's actually going on there?
Okay, let's do a little exercise. Right now, I want you to think of one thing. Just one thing you've been putting off. It can be anything, big or small. You got it? Good. Now, hold on to that thought because we're going to use it. Trust me, you're about to see that task in a completely new light.
Okay, first things first, and this is super important. Procrastination does not mean you're lazy. I'm going to say that again. It's not a character flaw. It's actually a pretty complex and totally normal thing happening inside your brain.
So what's happening up there? Well, picture this. It's like a constant tug of war in your head. You've got one part of your brain, the emotional part, that's screaming, I want to feel good right now. It wants that instant gratification, that relief from stress. And on the other side, you've got the rational part saying, hey, we have goals. We need to think long term. Procrastination, that's just what happens when the feel-good now side wins the match.
So what gives that feel-good now side so much power? It's all about these emotional triggers. You know, that feeling of anxiety when you look at a big project, or that guilt because you haven't started yet, or, and this is a big one, that crushing need for it to be absolutely perfect. Your brain's solution is simple. Avoid the task, avoid the bad feeling. It's basically a self-defense mechanism. And that last one, perfectionism, brings us to something that might actually surprise you. It's a total myth about why we really put things off.
So often, people think procrastinators just don't care. But here's the thing. A lot of the time, it's the complete opposite. We care too much. The fear of not doing a perfect job, of not meeting those ridiculously high standards we set for ourselves, it's paralyzing. It genuinely feels safer to not even start than to risk creating something that isn't perfect.
Okay, so we get the why now. Our brains are hardwired for this stuff. But what about the how? How do we actually break this cycle? Well, it's time to get practical. Let's open up the anti-procrastination toolkit. These are real, simple things you can literally start doing the second this is over. Okay, here we go. 4 game changers. First up, the 2-minute rule. Super simple. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, just do it. Now, don't even think about it. Next, time boxing. Set a timer for, say, 25 minutes and just work. The goal isn't to finish the thing, it's just to start. Number 3, reward yourself. Seriously, celebrate those small wins. And finally, and this one is maybe the most important, forgive yourself. You're going to have off days, it's okay. The trick is to just acknowledge it and move on without letting guilt drag you down. The real magic behind all of this is making a giant, scary mountain feel like a tiny little molehill. So remember that task you thought of at the beginning? Let's go back to it. Here's your challenge. What is the absolute smallest, most laughably tiny first step you could possibly take? I mean, think about it. The goal, write a report, sounds awful, right? It's huge, it's intimidating. But what about open a blank document? Anyone can do that. See what you're doing? You're lowering the barrier to entry so low that it's almost harder not to do it. And that tiny action, that's how you start building momentum. Okay, now I want you to stick with me for a second because we're about to flip this whole thing on its head. What if procrastination isn't actually the enemy we need to fight? What if it's a teacher? What if it's trying to tell you something really important? So instead of fighting it, let's try listening to it. Think of procrastination like a warning light on your car's dashboard. It's a signal. It's telling you, hey, pay attention. Maybe it's pointing to a fear of failure. Maybe it's telling you you're totally burned out. Or maybe the task you're putting off just doesn't really matter to you. Once you see it as a signal, you can start to figure out the real problem instead of just being mad at yourself for procrastinating. And that really brings us full circle. So let's go back to that one task one last time, the one you've been keeping in your mind. Now that you understand all of this, my question for you is, what's the one small step you're going to take? Today, not tomorrow. What's that one tiny thing you can do to get the ball rolling? Because that, right there, that's how you turn knowing into doing.